Hey Sonia, I was wondering if now would be a good time to talk with you about a frustration. Are you available?
Yes, it's a good time.
So first I would like to express an appreciation. I really appreciate that you as my mother-in-law are so available to just let me come and talk to you about any sort of frustrations that I have. And you're able to do it in a very non-judgmental way. That really means a lot.
So, if I'm getting this, you really appreciate the fact that you're able to come to me and talk to me about anything, and then I can respond in a really non-judgmental way. Did I get that?
Yes, you got it. So I'm experiencing a frustration with the family and people arriving on time for family events. And it's just making it feel like it's not a priority to them and that the time isn't special for them.
So let me see if I'm getting this, that you are having a frustration about, in our family, about people arriving on time or not arriving on time, in not making the situation in the event special. Did I get that?
Yes, you got it.
Is there more about that?
Yes, it just makes me feel kind of sad that we're not able to make time a priority in our family because this time is special and it won't always be here.
So this makes you feel sad because this time with the family is special and we're not going to always have this. Did I get that?
Yes, you got it.
Is there more about that?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. I would always have this one friend who would always come over to sleep over and do other things, but he'd always have to leave early or show up late. And then it made me start to question, are you even my friend or what's our relationship?
So it reminds you of this friend in your past who would come over for sleepovers and things like that, but he always had to either leave early or he was late showing up, and you kind of thought, are you really even my friend? I don't know. So did I get that?
Yes, you got that.
Is there more about that?
Yeah, there is more. I really wish that our family would just make it a priority to spend time together and treat the time as sacred and special, because it's so unique. And I think we should start to talk with the family and make a pact of, if the time is 6 p.m., we all show up at 6 p.m. and try and really make that a priority just so we can make an actual action plan for this.
Let me see if I've got that. Your wish is that you want to make time a priority with the family and for everybody to consider it important, and to make a pact that if it's 6 o'clock, we should all show up at 6 o'clock. Did I get that?
Yes, you got that.
Is there more about that?
No.
All right, so let me see if I've got it all. Your frustration that you feel in the family is that people aren't showing up on time and to events, and they're not making family events a priority. And you feel sad because we're not going to always have this time, and you consider it a really big priority. And it reminds you of this friend that you had when you were in elementary school who would come over for sleepovers, but he was always leaving early, or he would show up late, and you wondered, is this really a friend or not? And you really would like to make family time a priority and for everybody to discuss this and agree that in maybe a pact, that agreement that, yes, if it's going to be 6 o'clock, then we're all going to show up at 6 o'clock because this is important to have this family time. Did I get all of that?
Yes, you got all of that.
So that makes so much sense. And what makes sense is that family time is important and it's crucial, and it makes sense that you really want people to honor the time and people to make it a priority. And it makes sense that it feels sad when you don't when you don't have that happening, and you know that it's not always going to be here, and that you makes sense that you remember in the past this friend of yours who kind of brushed you off in showing up late and not showing off, and then you did wonder about his commitment to you. And then, and it makes sense that you would like a pact and you would like an agreement that everybody considers family time a priority, and to discuss this and agree that, okay, if we're going to do something at 6 o'clock, let's commit to doing this at 6 o'clock and everybody's showing up on time to make the time really important and valuable. Is that a good validation?
That's a really good validation, yes.
Yeah. So I can imagine that if you had this situation where we discussed this, that instead of frustration, it would feel honoring, it would feel committed, happy. Would those be your feelings?
Yes, and then I would also just feel fulfilled in a way to be with family.
And fulfilled to be with family. Yeah, that would be great. So I sure appreciate you sharing all of this with me, Chris. And I really do think that this is an actionable thing that we can put in place for the family and talk about it because it's important. So I really appreciate the fact that you brought this up. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for listening and validating that action plan.
All right. So.